Hey everyone, this is the scene from my bedroom window. Ugly rose bush blowing in the wind. I was planning to go out today, but rainy, cold, windy, decided against it. So I am doing a video today, and I just decided to do something different and just give you the scene from my bedroom window. It might be boring, but what I have to say isn't going to be boring. So, maybe a car will go by occasionally and give you something different to look at. This video is about the dark side of phones and social media. And I watched a few videos on this topic, and I'm going to share my understanding of those videos, give you some quotes from those videos, and mostly paraphrase and maybe throw in some of my own comments and examples. But on 60 Minutes Australia, it's a YouTube channel, in a video titled, "Is Social Media Killing Our Children? Shocking New Evidence Revealed," a social psychologist named Jonathan Haidt says that phones are messing with our kids' minds, making them sick, and even killing them. A quote from him is, "We have an international epidemic of depression, anxiety, self-harm, and suicide." He said something happened globally in the early 2010s that sent teen mental health spiraling downward. And the only theory about this massive change in their daily lives happened when they adopted a phone-based childhood, which is about the early 2010s. The children used to have a play-based childhood. Now, many of them have a phone-based childhood. He said young girls are the most at risk because they're more harmed by chronic social comparison. They get on their phones and all the other girls look better than them. They're all using filters or carefully edited photos. One girl said that social media made her eating disorder worse. She had anorexia, which is when you stop eating completely. Something happened during COVID that I wasn't even aware of this. She said on all the socials there was this trend during lockdown, during COVID, this trend to have a lockdown glow-up so that when people gathered again, that they'd be seen as this new person. It was portrayed that these girls were going to be so amazing when they came out of lockdown. And this challenge to get fit and fabulous became a dangerous obsession as more extreme dieting content was showing up. This girl said that all her social media feeds were filled with this content. She said social media is all about using each other as a point of comparison, and that comparison can be deadly. She ended up in the hospital. Now, here's an example of the extreme dieting that had been posted during COVID, during this glow-up challenge, I guess you'd call it. Some people were confessing on social media that they lived on 200 calories a day and then claimed that they were healthy and had energy. And this came from the father of a daughter who actually committed suicide after being bullied for her weight. His daughter had even found ideas about how she could kill herself on social media. He didn't say exactly what, but I assume it might have been a chat room where these conversations go on with these teenagers about how they could kill themselves. I mean, are parents even aware of this stuff on social media? This is unbelievable, and it gets worse. He said social media provides a perfect platform for people who are vulnerable to feel even worse. That came from the father of the daughter who is now dead because she killed herself. She overdosed because of all the bullying that she was dealing with on social media. So, I guess what he's saying here is if you have a daughter who is maybe sensitive about her weight or being bullied at school or anything like that, and then you hand her a phone, that problem is going to get worse. He said it provides a perfect platform for people who are vulnerable to feel even worse. So keep that in mind, parents. On the YouTube channel, Kid Counselor Brenna, in a video titled "Wake Up, Social Media is Ruining Our Kids," a school counselor made a video, and she said, "One of my greatest concerns is the amount of time that kids are spending on screen, and that no one is aware of what is being put in their minds." She said when you take their phones away, they have meltdowns and they can't function. She said we need to understand the severity of the addiction that our preteens and teens have to their devices. She suggested don't let your kids be on social media unless you're sitting there with them and monitoring what is being put into their minds. She said every message that they're getting takes them down a slippery slope, toxic, devastating spiral because they begin to believe things that are not true, and they are given information that they don't understand, and it takes them down self-destructive and damaging paths. She said, I see this every day in my office. She's a school counselor. She said her office is filled every day with suicidal kids who have anxiety, depression. They're taking online quizzes and determining that they are bipolar. They're cutting themselves, saying that they're not going to make it through the year, saying they don't want to get out of bed. They're doing drugs and having sex so they can escape the real world. And she said it all comes back to the stuff that they are getting on social media. And parents consistently tell her, I have no idea what they're doing online. Now here's the most shocking story. One parent, I don't remember which video this was on, but one parent told a story of her son who was playing a deadly online game, some kind of roulette. He was posting videos of his hands holding a gun, spinning the chamber, and then you would hear a click as he put the gun to his head. He posted this video 3 times, and on the 4th time he did it, there was actually a bullet in the chamber, and he killed himself. In a YouTube video by English Avenue titled How Social Media Destroys Your Life and How to Quit, it was said on that video that your time is being stolen, your energy, your mental health. Now this sounds a little extreme, but it was said that a person touches their phone more than 2,000 times a day on average. I don't even touch my phone 100 times a day. I can't even imagine. That sounded a little way off there, but I don't even know how they measure these things. But also, the average person spends 7 hours a day on their phone. 7 hours, that's another job. That's another full-time job. Your studies begin to suffer, your job, your career, your productivity, your hobbies, you lose your passions. You have no time to pursue your dreams. Your business might begin to fail. You're distracted all the time. You start to ignore your children, your family, your spouse. Ignore what you need to do at home. It can also decrease your attention span because of this instant gratification that we get from our phones. It kind of reprograms our minds to this place where we no longer have patience to wait for any kind of rewards or gratification. I watched a video by a girl who was on a cruise, and she was talking about this lack of patience that people have. Everyone was in a bad mood, couldn't wait to get to their cabin, just being rude to the staff. And she said, we're all leaving at the same time on this ship, and everyone's just in a rush. This is how we are today. We're in a rush to get everywhere, lacking patience because we've been brainwashed by these instant rewards and instant gratification. Many people can't live even 1 hour without their phone. They'll get anxious and frustrated, maybe even furious if they don't have their phone. This is not normal. This is addiction. Scientists compare social media addiction to drugs, alcohol, cigarettes, and gambling. And it affects our mental health. We start to compare our lives with what other people are posting, the successes that they're having, the vacations they're going on, the way they look. They're only showing their best selves and then putting filters on themselves. And, we start to compare what we have with what they have. And maybe someone's single and they see their married friends having fun or dating and they're in relationships, but they're not. And, you start to feel bad about your life. You're not going on fabulous vacations. You're not happy with how you look. You're not having one success after another. You're not in a relationship. You don't have a new car. You didn't just remodel your beautiful new home. This can have an effect. But what we don't realize, social media is fake. People are only posting the best moments of their lives. They don't share their failures and their struggles. Their filters are making them look more attractive than they actually are. And then there's the dopamine addiction. When you get a like or a comment on your post, you need more scrolling, more videos and likes to keep that dopamine flowing. It's an immediate reward. Another example of that immediate high that you get on social media. Life is normally not like that. When you exercise for half an hour, you're not going to see an immediate reward. When you study for that test, you're not going to see an immediate reward. Most of life's rewards are not immediate. This is why we get addicted to social media and scrolling and likes and videos and posts. And it's a trap designed to keep you stuck. It's feeding you with its immediate rewards every day. In a YouTube video by Vlad Savchuk titled "Satan is Using Your Phone Against You and Here's How," he said that phones are more than a place to communicate today. They shape our thoughts, they affect our emotions, and even our faith. And this is why phones are so damaging to children. It's not just that they're communicating with their friends. Their thoughts are being shaped. Their emotions are being affected. And if they have a form of faith, even that can be manipulated. Phones are a place where we spend an awful lot of time, and that time that you spend on your phone is making money for someone. These businesses, these companies, these content creators constantly try to keep you trapped, to keep you there because they're making money on your views and your phone time, your time you're watching. Vlad Savchuk, in that video I mentioned, he lists 10 things that you can ask yourself, which are signs that you have a phone addiction. If you even slightly think that you might have some kind of addiction to your phone, I recommend that you watch that video. And Vlad Savchuk is spelled VladSavchuk. And the video, again, is titled, "Satan is Using Your Phone Against You. Here's How." Take that test and see if you have a phone addiction. It might make you realize that you need to make some changes. He said Satan loves to keep you distracted so he can steal your peace, destroy your relationships, make you feel discontent, like others have more than you, they're happier than you, they're more successful, they're better looking. He tells us how our phones are distracting us and affecting our thinking and even weakening our spiritual lives. He said 68% of Christian men and 33% of Christian women watch porn. That's shocking. The average age of people who begin watching pornography is 11. This is one of the traps, because pornography is actually one of the doors you can open to a demonic influence. You start watching porn on a regular basis, you can expect your life to start to unravel. Also, there's online gossip that can become a trap, and It's just not good, all these traps that we get caught up in online. He said the goal of the enemy is to keep you mindlessly scrolling instead of pursuing God. Mindlessly scrolling, giving attention to your phone, giving attention to everything on social media instead of maybe pay attention to your children. You know, you don't pay attention to your family, your spouse. You should be giving your attention to them rather than your phone and social media. Instead of studying, you know, instead of pursuing your dreams, instead of being productive at work, your hobbies might start to suffer. You used to be creative. Now all you do is sit in your phone. I think one of the saddest sights to see is when you're in a social situation and there's one or more people who are just not even present. They're not even engaging in the conversation. Sometimes even a child might be sitting there with a phone in their face, off in a corner somewhere in their own little world, while the rest of the family is gathered together talking and having fun. That's just not normal, and that's not healthy. So, I'm going to pick this up next week with a quick video about how to implement healthy screen time habits for you and your family. Give you some answers for this, if this has resonated with you. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for staying till the end and putting up with my boring screen here. And, well, maybe wind is fun to watch. And I saw a bus went by. That was exciting. So, thanks for checking in. I appreciate all of you, and I'll see you next week.